What's the last thing you remember?
I had a glimpse into the past.
You're going to have to do for me what I once did for you.
Side by side to end this war.
When X-Men: Days of Future Past hit theaters in 2014, it marked one of the most ambitious and game-changing moments in superhero cinema. The film was designed not only as a sequel to X-Men First Class, but also as a continuation of the original X-Men trilogy, uniting two generations of mutants in a single, time-bending narrative. Directed by Bryan Singer, who returned to the franchise after more than a decade, the movie set out to correct the course of the series, bringing together the best elements of its past and future in one epic, emotional, and visually stunning story that redefined what the X-Men films could be. The story begins in a dark and desolate future, where mutants and even humans who sympathize with them are hunted down by advanced robotic Sentinels. These towering machines have wiped out nearly all mutant kind, forcing the remaining survivors to live in constant fear and hiding. Among the survivors are familiar faces like Professor Charles Xavier, Magneto, Wolverine, Storm, Kitty Pryde, and several new mutants who fight desperately to stay alive. The opening scenes set a grim tone, painting a picture of a world on the brink of extinction, where hope seems almost lost. Yet within this hopelessness lies a daring plan to send Wolverine's consciousness back in time to his younger body in the 1970s, in order to prevent the chain of events that led to this dystopian future. In the 1970s timeline, Wolverine awakens to a world completely different from the one he left behind. The world is politically charged, paranoid, and struggling with the rise of anti-mutant sentiment. Here, Charles Xavier is a broken man, stripped of his powers by a serum that allows him to walk but suppresses his telepathy. His school has fallen apart, his students are gone, and his once unshakable hope for mutant-human coexistence has vanished. Logan's mission is to find him, convince him to believe again, and unite him with Eric Leshenshire Magneto, who is imprisoned for a crime tied to the assassination of President Kennedy. The chemistry between the older, wiser Wolverine and the younger, disillusioned Xavier becomes the emotional heart of the story, creating some of the most powerful and human moments in the franchise. As the film unfolds, Wolverine, Xavier, and Beast must confront Mystique, who plays a crucial role in shaping the future. Her decision to assassinate Bolivar Trask, the scientist behind the Sentinel program, would set in motion a catastrophic chain of events. While her intentions are driven by the desire to protect mutant kind, her actions inadvertently trigger decades of fear and conflict. It becomes a race against time, not just to stop her from killing Trask, but to convince her that vengeance will only destroy everything they stand for. Mystique's character becomes the moral pivot of the story, embodying both the pain of persecution and the dangerous seduction of retribution. Meanwhile, in the future, the remaining mutants continue their desperate fight against the Sentinels. The film cuts between timelines, showing how the outcome of Wolverine's mission in the past directly affects the survival of his allies in the future. These sequences are intense and emotionally charged, filled with breathtaking action and visual effects that showcase the full extent of mutant powers. Characters like Blink, Bishop, Colossus, and Iceman fight valiantly, creating spectacular moments that balance tragedy with heroism. Each time a character falls, the sense of urgency grows stronger, making the stakes feel real and the consequences inevitable. One of the standout aspects of Days of Future Past is its ability to balance complex storytelling with genuine character development. The film doesn't just rely on spectacle, it dives deep into themes of redemption, destiny, and the power of choice. Charles Xavier's journey from hopelessness to belief mirrors the entire franchise's revival. His confrontation with his younger self, his reconciliation with Magneto, and his rediscovery of faith in humanity give the film a profound emotional weight. At the same time, Magneto's actions remain unpredictable. While his motives are understandable, his methods cross dangerous lines, pushing the limits of how far one can go in the name of survival. The 1970s setting adds a unique flavor to the film. From the costumes to the technology and even the political tension, everything feels authentically grounded in that era while still blending seamlessly with the futuristic elements. The film uses this contrast brilliantly, making the idea of time travel not just a plot device, but a storytelling tool that bridges generations. The integration of real historical events, like the Vietnam War and the rise of Cold War paranoia, gives the film a sense of realism and weight, reminding audiences that even in a world of mutants and superpowers, the fear of the unknown remains deeply human. One of the film's most memorable moments comes with the introduction of Quicksilver, whose high-speed abilities lead to a breathtaking sequence inside the Pentagon. Using slow motion and humor, the scene became an instant classic and a standout moment in superhero cinema. It provided a light-hearted break amid the tension while showcasing the creative potential of mutant powers. Quicksilver's character, though used sparingly, left a lasting impression and became a fan favorite instantly. The performances in Days of Future Past are nothing short of exceptional. Hugh Jackman delivers one of his best portrayals of Wolverine, balancing the gruff, battle-hardened warrior with the mentor-like presence of a man carrying the weight of two timelines. James McAvoy brings a broken human vulnerability to Xavier, while Michael Fassbender's Magneto remains both magnetic and menacing. Jennifer Lawrence shines as Mystique, portraying her inner conflict with intensity and empathy. Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, returning as the older versions of Xavier and Magneto, bring wisdom and gravitas, reminding audiences of the legacy that started it all. Visually, the film is stunning. The Sentinel designs, especially the future versions capable of adapting to mutant powers, are both terrifying and awe-inspiring. The cinematography seamlessly blends two timelines without confusing the audience, while the visual effects push the boundaries of what had been done in the franchise before. The time travel sequences, particularly the mind transfer scenes involving Wolverine and Kitty Pryde, are executed with emotional precision, creating a balance between science fiction spectacle and heartfelt storytelling. The film's climax is both thrilling and emotionally satisfying. In the past, the confrontation at the White House lawn becomes a test of ideals, as Magneto turns Washington into a battleground. His decision to reveal mutants to the world by lifting an entire stadium and threatening the government reflects his extreme belief that fear can only be overcome through dominance. Meanwhile, Mystique's ultimate decision to spare Trask's life becomes the turning point that changes everything. In that single act of mercy, the future is rewritten, and the cycle of destruction is broken. When Wolverine awakens in the altered future, the emotional impact is immense. The world he sees is no longer one of despair, but of peace. Mutants and humans coexist. The school is thriving, and characters thought long dead are alive once more. The moment he sees Jean Grey and Cyclops again is filled with warmth and nostalgia, closing a chapter of pain and opening a new one of hope. The film ends with a quiet but powerful message that even in a world defined by differences, understanding and compassion can reshape destiny. X-Men: Days of Future Past stands as one of the most important entries in the franchise because it successfully united everything that made the X-Men series special: its characters, its themes, and its emotional depth, while also correcting its past mistakes. It brought closure to years of continuity confusion, rejuvenated fan interest, and proved that superhero films could deliver not just action, but profound storytelling. Its legacy extends beyond its box office success. The film served as a bridge between generations of actors, symbolizing the passing of the torch while honoring those who built the foundation. It also set the stage for future films, including X-Men, Apocalypse, and Dark Phoenix, while redefining Wolverine's role in the mutant saga. More than that, it cemented the X-Men's place as pioneers of cinematic world-building long before shared universes became the norm. Even years after its release, Days of Future Past remains a landmark in the superhero genre. It demonstrated that time travel stories could be coherent and emotionally meaningful, that ensemble casts could be balanced without losing focus, and that the heart of a franchise lies not in its powers, but in its people. It's a film that celebrates the idea of change, of rewriting history, mending broken futures, and finding hope in the darkest of timelines. In the end, it wasn't just a movie about mutants. It was about humanity itself, and the belief that no matter how bleak things get, the future can always be rewritten.